Okay, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all watching. This is ZA6 Yankee India, operating and hosting the worldwide net today, as we do every Sunday at this time. And we have quite a large audience watching, fortunately, on YouTube as well as on the satellite itself. We just wish to thank the Qatar Satellite Corporation for allowing us the opportunity to be on their satellite with our amateur radio repeater or satellite. And we wish to thank AMSAT DL, AMSAT UK, and of course the BATC. These are three organizations that have really put a lot of effort into making information available to the general amateur radio public, and that's assisted everyone on coming onto the satellite, both narrowband, which is the SSB side, and as well as wideband. Today we have the following on free. We have G8KOE Martin. He's going to talk about a low sound problem. And hello Phil, saw you testing last night and yesterday, I think. Yesterday night. Yeah, last night, and good signal. And you say it's nice and stable now. That's good. Hello to you, Ed, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November in South America. And yeah, it'll be easy, good to see your DATV easy. Then, of course, Brian. Hi to you, Brian, G6HFS. Hello to Leon again. He has a broken phone and a problem with a dog, so maybe he can tell us about that. And hello to the radio amateur with him in the shack. I didn't quite get the call sign or the name, but anyway. And hello to you, Peter. And that's the list thus far. We'll see who comes up a bit later. But anyway, so Martin, I wonder if you'd like to take it. G8. Oh, I just want to do a test here quickly, ZA6YI. Right, you can do the same test, Martin, G8KOE from ZA6 Yankee India. Just
Okay. Right, let's see if we get there. So the old people are allowed to do this, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, I did have a quick look at the YouTube stream, and it looked okay to me. But well, I saw you earlier, sort of clapping away there. I couldn't resist putting a comment up. But yeah, what have I been up to? Well, this morning, first time I looked out the window and thought, why is my HF aerial so low? I've got a HME to double it up, and in the night the wind had sort of done things, and the furthest sort of pole had sort of something had happened to it. So when I investigated it, it's just tie wrapped. I just tie wrapped it temporarily to the stump sort of the tree or one of the branches, and the tie wraps are broke. So it was an easy fix. So not being awake, because the cats seem to keep bringing things in from rather large moths. But I expect you have even larger moths out in South Africa. But anyway, so I then ran up the system, and my mic audio was low. Looked at the meter and it wasn't registering very well. Did some video playback, and that was okay. Then sort of looked at the settings in OBS, and sort of blamed Windows, just because everybody blames Windows, so it can't be anything else. And then looked at the microphone and such like. And then sort of penny dropped. So we'll show you a picture of my microphone. Right, that's what I use. and that's the way I was trying to use it this morning, with very low response, and that's the way it should be. So it helps if you're talking to the front of the microphone instead of the back of the microphone. It made me chuckle when I found it. I was looking for something really complex, and I just put the microphone on the desk the wrong way round. Just don't get old, that's all I can say. The other thing I did do is to tidy up the Pluto, etc., etc. I'll show my little drive chain that it is. The only thing I was surprised at how many Chinese amplifiers I've got in line, because you probably know everything starts off in the lounge, effectively, in the house. And there's a long feed to the garage. I must measure it out, but that's LMR 200. One that's a little hole in the wall and out there. I've never measured what the loss is, but anyway, we're sort of click on that one. So that's now what looks like under the monitor. Pluto, the Leo Bodner to lock it all up, and a little Chinese amp on there to boost it up, because the later Pluto was slightly lower output. Not particularly that fantastic, a bit of a construction, but then you go into the shack, into the garage rather, and it goes into not one, not two, but three, and then into another. God, this is moving on a bit too quick. That's the controller box of tricks that is controlled from the DATV Easy. So you click on DATV Easy and it throws the relays over. So that's what's in there. That's obviously my PA. I'm going to slow down the way this slideshow goes. It's a bit too quick. Obviously the screening can that made loads of difference. It's the best thing since sliced bread to put that on. And with all the amplification in line, it wanders up to my big PA, and the next picture, which doesn't show very well, but on the input side there's another 6 dB attenuator just but that's the system I run, and that then goes out to the dish. So it's just progressed over the time, and I should have paid more attention to what things are. But as I said, quite surprised at the number of Chinese amps. There's one Chinese amp here, 3 more leading into a larger Chinese amp, into the Wi-Fi amp. Perhaps I should tidy things up in the future, but I haven't. But anyway, I think that's about all I've really done. Apart from take my son to the airport, which is just up the road, and he's flown out to Romania, which he says is hot, but probably not as hot as South Africa. So he's out there for a week, and I'll pick him up again. Right, I think it's he says, I can't remember who's next, but I feel I should know. Let's look at the list. I should have known it's Phil. Yeah, I've only talked to him this morning, as I do seem to do most days or every other day. Anyway, get ready, Phil. Get ready with your keypad there, and we'll see how we go. I'll put up a test card, and it's going to be all yours from GHKRE.
Right, there's my keypad. Right, have I got any audio? Yes. Have I got any audio? Yes. But as everybody, oh, I don't want to hear that. As everybody is clapping today, including me, then I've got one better than clapping. How about this, lads? And my camera's gone out of focus. Cost me all of £5. Let's get my camera back in focus. Come on. There we go. It's an easy way of doing it. Bang. Yeah. Stability. Yeah. My setup is I've got a little wooden cabinet in the garden next to the dish, and inside it is my PA. There's a couple of drivers in there, and there's a power supply, and in the power supply is a digital attenuator. When I put it all together, it was reasonably okay, but then come the winter, and I had an idea, and the idea was that I could take one of the fans from the drivers and put it on another project, which I did. I also borrowed the lid from the power supply, and I forgot to replace it all. So come the summer, first thing was that my little driver stage got absolutely red hot because there's no fan on it. Now the driver in question is one of these. Now I think they're quite good, available on eBay. Allegedly they kick out a watt, but of course we all know that no way will it kick out a watt linearly. I think mine's pushing out, I'm not sure what it's pushing out, to be quite honest, but it's well under a watt, believe me. But it uses, and it's a SHF-0289, which is apparently it's an HFET. Now that HFET, it runs literally red hot, and because my cabinet was getting extremely hot with very little ventilation, I decided that when I put my hand in there to actually test how hot it was, and it burnt it, I thought I'd better put my fan back. So having done that, it was great, but I was still experiencing some problems on my power level dropping. And it was dropping quite considerably, and what I was having to do is just push more power into it to get the same level out. Anyhow, to cut a long story short, after a lot of investigation, I realised that I hadn't put the cover back on the top of my power supply. Well, inside the power supply, which is a 19-inch unit, inside there is the digital attenuator, and it's not screened. And as soon as I put the lid back on, power supply, my whole setup has become stable, and that's where I am today. And I've been running it like this for about 3 days now, and my output level is stable. It hasn't dropped like it was dropping before. It was dropping by about, I can't remember, about 2-3 dB it was dropping, so I had to push more into it. And it was basically not having a screen on top of this power supply, i.e. the attenuator. And I don't know if it was the output stage in my driver getting way too hot as well. I just don't know. But anyhow, I am now all stable, and I'm really chuffed. What I'm going to do after all of this, because it's sort of like I've been trying to sort this out for ages, and now it's sorted out, I'll have to find another project, but I'm sure there'll be one that comes along. But this little lamp, going back to this little lamp, I don't know if anybody else is using one of these, but the actual output stage on it, the output transistor, this HFET device, is actually fed from 8 volts. And a lot of the Chinese ones are only driven from 5 volts.
the quiescent current on it is about 0.4 of an amp, so it's quite high. Yeah, I think these are quite good. I'll be interested to hear if anybody else has tried these. Then that's enough from me waffling away. Hang on, let's go back to this camera. I'm also using my new, not new, I'm using my keypad. There you go. Which is basically old Arduino bits that I had around, and took me about 6 months to write the code because I am not a programmer, I'm not a software engineer, but it does actually work, as I will show. Look at this, it's fantastic, you know. Oh, that'll keep me nice and warm. So yeah. Whoops. So yeah, that cost me absolutely nothing to build. It was just a load of old bits that I had kicking around, but it does actually work. Yeah, I'm quite chuffed. Anyhow, who's next on the list? Let me have a look. And it's Ed. So this is M0PIT with a test card going up. And I'm handing it over.
Thank you, Phil. Mike Zero, Papa India Tango. This is Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. Hello, good day for everyone. Nice to see you all. Gary, Martin, Phil, and after me, going to be Brian, Leon, Peter, and Nigo. Very nice, guys. Thank you very much. Phil, by the way, I just loved your your claquette board. I think that's the name, claquette board. Yeah, that was funny. I laughed a lot. That's really nice. And Martin, what is the name of that microphone? R2D2, R2D2. Remember Star Wars? That looks like uh, a miniature of R2D2. That's interesting. And yeah, facing to you, I think it's gonna be better, gonna work better. Um, okay. Yeah, I'm transmitting here. I'm a little slow on new things. It's no longer new, but it's new to me. So I'm using DATV Easy to transmit. I wouldn't consider it so. It's much easy to install and configure everything. But as soon as you finish and get everything working, yeah, it kind of easier to control DATV transmission using this software. So I'm pretty glad that I made it. Thanks to Beno, Papa Alpha 3 Radio, Papa Alpha 3 Bravo X-ray. Oh gee, I forgot. FBX, yeah, PA3 Fox Bravo X-ray, and also last night Chris of Oscar November 1 Radio Charlie gave me some information that I was not able to control my output power, which is a little bit higher than normal. Let me adjust that, and yeah, everything working fine now. That's really nice. Yeah, for Phil, let me switch my camera here. I have tried this little amplifier, Phil, but I don't know. I don't remember the reason. It was not so good to me, at least not on 2.4 gigahertz. Yeah, that one. I don't remember exactly what happened, but it didn't work quite well on 2.4 gigahertz for me. I use it more to do experiments on 432, stuff like that. For me, the best results all the way for 2.4 gigahertz is this little yellow one. The chip is the Sky some number. I don't remember the number, but that works for me. That gives about 1 watt. With the Pluto, the Pluto input, it gives near 1 watt, as around 800 milliwatts output. So it's a good driver, and it does not auto oscillate. It does get very hot, so it's interesting to put like a heat sink on the bottom of the ship, on the top of the ship, and also in the bottom. It's a good idea to put a heat sink because it gets real hot. It's very robust. The only thing you cannot do is invert input with output. If you do that, it will die instantaneously. Yeah. And speaking about amplifiers, I have a question for you, Gary. I'm still struggling to get my HF amplifiers cooled enough to get longer transmission periods, even for AM transmissions. We have many guys here that they like the old school guys that they do a lot of AM, and I like to talk to them because they are very technical, even though if their life is just about valves and tubes. But anyways, it's always interesting to learn and listen and talk to those guys. So I'm not I don't have capability to assemble any tube or valve amplifier, so I'm doing that with LDMOS. But the problem with LDMOS, this gets really hot, and it doesn't will support like a 15-30 minutes continuous transmission. No way, no way. So what I'm thinking now is to put a water cooling. So I found those water blocks. When you put the water in, water all out, and this is copper. This is a solid copper, not solid, but this is copper, 100% copper. So my intention here is to solder the LDMOS on top of it, and through a pump make the water circulate, and obviously the pump has also those fans, the evaporator, I don't remember the name, but you know, that just to refrigerate and cool down. So I'm thinking about that. Obviously, it will not be standalone. It will be sitting on a aluminum heat sink, and the amplifier boards will be aligned, you know, on the sides here. But it will be sitting over a heat sink, aluminum heat sink. So that's the idea. I don't know, Gary, your thoughts about that. Please let me know, and the other guys here also, if you experience it similar situations, please let me know. All right, guys. I think that's it from me. So I'm gonna pass to Brian, Golf 6 Hotel Fox Sierra. Please go ahead, Brian. This is Papa Yankee 2 Radio November and the worldwide DATV net.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Morning, evening. Yeah, I haven't got really much to say today. I've only just got back. early Saturday morning, so I just thought I'd warm things up, see if we're still okay working wise. So not done a lot. I did receive some post. I think you all recognise these. I've got a couple of the USB interface boards from Benno there, so that's a little job for me to do. And also all these people putting their amplifiers and preamplifiers and everything else outside. These pair have been sat on my bench since I started. Down in the bottom box is all the RF drivers for 23 and 13. Up top is the amp. What's it running at? 35. That's it. Straight out the shack. LDF 450 into the dish round the corner on the side of the house. So that's where I've been running my stuff. So that's it really. So as I say, not a lot to talk about today, as I say, because I've not been here to do anything. I've got the potty modified and the LMB on the back of the dish, but I've not done no realigning yet. So the LMB's only given me about 1 or 2 dB. I need to do some alignment work, but potty's working fine at the moment. What else have I got to say? Oh yeah, Leon said this one Mike if he's listening. I know those chips turned up that you record for that little aircraft device, so I'm still eagerly waiting out.
for the group. From ZS1, Mike.
Okay, GW7BZY. Hopefully I've got some sound. There we go, I've got sound. I'll turn the sound down so I don't have to listen to myself. There we go. Excellent stuff. I don't think I've been on for a while, so good afternoon to everybody. Long time no see, I think, although I did see some of you practicing this afternoon, or setting up, should I say. Comments, well, what have I been doing here? Not a lot, really. Nothing amateur television. Everything still works. How come? I don't know. I have to say that, yeah, G6HFS, I like your layout, the way you've done everything. Mine is more or less exactly the same, but not anywhere near as tidy. My PA's on the desk, the power supply's on the desk. I have a desk that runs the full length of the room, and it's at the far end, and I think it's Andros Helix that goes out the window, and it goes onto a 7/16th into a 7/16th connector, which that is an adapter. So when I want to SWR it, I can use the digital Yoki, forget the name of it. Anyway, so that's what I use. As for drivers, I'm amazed that you have a good picture. I would have thought that all the noise from each amplification there, Martin, would become a problem, but obviously not. So maybe that's something not to worry about. Obviously, it works, doesn't it? It works well. I did have a look round for a dead amplifier. I'm using an AMSAT amplifier here, and I found this one while I was looking in a drawer. And I think this one actually works. I put a power supply to it, and the LED lights up. And I don't remember using it because I don't remember having using one with the USB micro USB power supply. And that's, although it runs from 6 volts. It says 6 volts till 30 volts, but obviously it's running on 5 volts. So that's got quite a voltage spectrum, and I haven't used it. Maybe I'll connect it up and see what it does, and instead of but the AMSAT's got a filter system, isn't it? So, but I do have a filter between the driver amp and the power amp, and that's a notch filter, a KAZ filter, which is quite narrow. It's only got a bandwidth of about flat bandwidth of about 6 megahertz, and then it sort of drops off pretty quickly. So you do put out less power in certain parts of the band. Not ideal, but it works. Certainly, hopefully, cuts out any spurious emissions. That's about it, really. I see PY2RN, your DATV's working well for you. All good there. KO, good to see you there. I didn't write any down in your highlights. I was quite just listening to your over, and I hadn't thought of anything to write down. But all's good otherwise. Very good picture from you, Gary. Thanks for bringing me in. Thanks as always for running the net. And Leon, good to see you. I think background could be more exciting. I think I'll have a go at Leon. So background, not the best. I think it's shutting down the camera a little bit and making you look a little darker than you might do otherwise. But there we are. Hopefully my picture is okay. Probably the best, maybe. I think Gary, there's stiff competition, but I still think mine's. Anyway, with that, I'll hand it back to Gary from GW7BZY.
Hello. Yeah, Peter. It was me next. Hello. Right. Okay. I won't stop the test card because I was trying to put a couple of pictures on the OBS. Try and get it working next time, but it takes me too long. I should know not to do it off the off. But yeah, good afternoon to everybody. Good morning, Gary, Ed, Brian, Leon, Peter, and Leon. Yes, my amplifier's outside. I'll sort of don't do it off the off because you'll cock it up, so to speak. My amp's on the bottom of a pole, the bottom of a dish outside, and I've never run it inside, but I'm suffering from heat. I've got a big fan inside, but I need to get some vents on, and also have the fan running separately because my fan only runs at the moment when it's transmitting, which is not really good, really. But so I'll have to try and sort it out where I can get it the fan working separately than the PTT. But anyway, it works for now anyway. Yeah, so I'm suffering with heat. Not too bad because what I've done on my hot weather, I leave the door open to the box. But that's no in winter. Then you're not so bad in winter because it's cooler. So that's what I've been up to. So I want to show you the pictures, but I can't. Not yet. Well, I have, but it's just I shouldn't try and do it, rush it. Because I know it takes about 20 times me slower than everybody else to do things. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. I've got myself I've been given a new laptop, a second-hand laptop. And I've been sorting that out. Let's see if I can do this. I better balls this up. Yeah. That's a new i7 laptop. Got it. Plugged in, so that's that. So I've been looking. Let me put it back onto. That's it. So that's all I've been up to. So everything takes a longer time. Anyway, what's my temperature? I've still got the box closed and my temperatures of 28 or 29 C from the fan from the inside of the box. So it's not too bad. Obviously, it will get hotter the longer I use it, but I think that's enough for me. I think it's going back to net control, Gary, ZS6YI. I can't see anybody else following me. So, sorry, Martin, I forgot to mention you as well, my friend. Martin and Peter. Anyway, I won't put the I'll try and put the home screen on, but I don't think it's. I don't think it's. Let me see if I can. You'll have a laugh at this anyway. This is as far as I've got. So that's the dish. Well, that's the background. So obviously, I've not the bloody best screen. And it just takes long anyway. Enough for me. Good. So I'll hand it back to net controls. Excuse the not having a background test card, but I'll hand it back to Gary next.
Okay, Nigel, good. Let me just turn down the juice a bit. There we go. All right, very, very good indeed from you, Nigel, no problem. And all noted all round. Okay, Ed, the cooling, you're doing the right thing. You by taking your copper and putting it onto aluminium, and then you go through a chiller unit. I hope you've got one that's got a refrigeration unit onto it, because then you can really control the temperature very well. While we were transmitting, for whatever reason, the ride stopped working. But I've got it quickly going back. So Leon, sorry about that. We lost your over on YouTube. But so there was a long over without anything on. So I do apologize for those on YouTube. I don't know what went wrong. But I just restarted the ride, got it running again, and it's all good. So, okay, what have I been doing this week? Between running a company, a couple of companies now, I found time to sort out our problem that we had on the repeater that was scratching like that. So I will just bring it up quickly, and then we can show you. Let's just play it. There we go. So that was the fault. That's the output cable of the amplifier, which, funny enough, is right next to the input cable from the repeater, which is madness. I would normally have put that on the other end of the box, shielded as much as possible. But for some unknown reason, it does not oscillate. So it's worked for years. But the problem we had is over here. That earth, that shielding had come off. And it was just touching. I just moved it away a little bit because I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw it. And that was where the little bit of an arcing must have happened. You can actually see it's a bit black there. But yeah, let's just go to the next photo, slightly less contaminated. And there you could see the area that was giving us the hassle. Anyway, that cable is a very, very, very thin cable. So I replaced that, and I did that to it, put a proper, now you can see the two. That's the receiving cable, this white one. And look where it is. When I say receiving, that's from the repeater output, which is running about 8 watts. Goes into the amp, and then it's got 3 output transistors, which eventually land up over here through this little filter. And then I put in RG400, which is a double shielded cable that we use on microwave bands, and that can take a lot of power. So I think that's going to be an improvement, and made a proper joint there. And also over here, the other one wasn't soldered too well, so I've properly done that, bridged it properly and soldered that. So I hope that's going to be the end of the crackling noise that we started to experience. Then we had a message from David Shaw, Mike 5 Tango X-Ray Juliet, and he said he's not on today, he's hard at work. So as you can see, he certainly is hard at work. So I thought I'll just take the photo he put on WhatsApp and put it on here. And then the next guy that's hard at work is our dear friend Benno, and that's where he is. He's busy with, I think, some contest or other. Op die kaart aan Bakenkaart, Beacon chart. Geef positieve 2 meter ARDTX op. It's showing it on the card, on the map where he is. So he's busy with that today. Anyway, all good. But coming back to you there, Ed, yeah, you got the right idea, is put them on an aluminium heatsink as well. The copper just transmits that energy very quickly, and with the water in and out, that's ideal. I presume you're going to put a few more transistors on in parallel. But the return, of course, to the unit outside will be the hot water. And then if you can refrigerate it, it's a chiller unit, we call it. And there are many ways to do that. You can have just a big radiator outside, a car radiator with a nice fan and then just the pump pumping the water through. One tip, you don't have to pump the water through very quickly. You just want it to flow, probably half a meter, maybe even less per second, not too fast, because you want to give the heat time to get into the water and then move it away. But if you can keep your water cold, let me see, my temperature at the moment is 20.2 degrees at the finals, right at the finals of my amp. I'm running 18 watts, thereabout. So gives you an idea. Let me just see if I can get that thing on. Here we go. Yeah, actually 19 watts at the moment. That's where I'm running. And I can run that 19 watt day in, day out, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no problem. That amplifier will never go higher than about 21 degrees Celsius. I have a 4-degree latitude. I didn't want the thing on and off all the time. But like in South Africa right now, it's a bit cold. So the chiller, the actual refrigeration unit hardly kicks in. So it's all working quite well, I'm quite happy to say. I think I know what I did, why the YouTube got lost for a little while, and that was because I switched on the wrong button. Okay, so we must move that button out the way in future. That is for sure. But anyway, let me just quickly go down the list. Anyone else? Just want to see. Oh, okay. Right, Martin. No, you're doing well there. Your amps and your laptop you showed us earlier, that'll put you in good stead. And beautiful job you did. Congratulations. But typically you work very, very well. You're an artist when it comes to producing something. It looks bought. So no problem there. Phil, your station's as stable as a rock. You've got nothing to complain about now. I had one of those little amps, but I don't use any preamp. I go from my Pluto straight to my amp. The reason is the amp's got a built-in preamp. So it's all nicely done. And so I don't have to worry about extra preamps and so forth. And the fewer things you have in line, the better, I would say. But your station's stable, your signal's good, everything's fine. And Ed, your DATV Easy is working a charm, no problem. And yeah, it seems to be a lot easier. I've been giving guys advice that want to come on. It's just to go to DATV Easy because they don't have to modify their Pluto at all, which is a big help. And yeah, Brian, excellent signal from you as usual. No problem to copy. And always good to see you there. And then, Leon, I hope you get your phone tomorrow. It's a bit difficult not contacting you. And Peter, as usual, you have the best signal on the band, what you're complaining about. And Nigel, not bad signal from you either. And I like that 1950s to 1970s music. Now you're talking. Right, back to you, Martin, G8KOE to take it from ZA6YI.
Right, I think we're back. Just wait until I hear some. Yep, let's kill that. Funny enough, I've got a couple of receivers going. The Longman client I had running, and that locked up totally after Peter came on. There was some busy boy. It didn't like. It was okay on every station up till that point. Then it's very distinct wobbly because was the Longman client I was probably going to use to stream from. So I thought I'd see how it sort of goes. Before I forget, next week I probably won't be on. It's the British Formula One Grand Prix, and as I only normally watch highlights, they're actually showing all of it. So I don't pay for subscription. It's usually on Channel 4 over here. They're only allowed to put highlights, which are put later on in the day. But I shall probably watch the British one. get my money's worth. So probably won't be on next week. So a big cheer going out now. And to Ed, now I thought your sound was out of sync, but it could have been that I was monitoring wrongly, etc. I had the sound turned up on the wrong receiver, and looking at a picture with sound coming up from too many sources. So maybe it was okay. So I'll be interested in that. JTV Easy, I think it's great. On the configuration side, I have plus 400 on the sync side, but I'm using the VB audio cable in OBS, so it depends on presumably how you're doing that. But I've got plus 400 and it doesn't shift using the VB audio cable. And I think another well-known station uses 400 as well. But I don't think he's on at the moment. He's just busy looking through it. He's probably looking at his cow cam, I think. Yeah, I think one of my receivers is other ones that's trying to wobbly, so I'm still moving pictures there, but I can't adjust the sound. Volume control. I think it's gone running too many things. Anyway, that's a lot of waffle for me. Good net as usual, and good to hear some sound from you there, Nigel. And yeah, don't worry about it. It's just take it slowly. You have so many bits of kit that no wonder you get confused. It's just constantly changing things. But at least the sound was good, which is okay. And yep, can't think of anything else to add. So I'll probably see you in a fortnight's time. Over to you there, Phil. A test card and gone from G8KOE.
Yeah, thanks, Martin. Am I transmitting? Yes, I am transmitting. I know we've gone out of focus. Let's put it back in. Bang. I got my Polycom running today. It's one of the big ones. And there it is. I was quite chuffed. The picture ain't that bad. I was a bit concerned about a tint in it. But it's not that bad. But the one problem that I do have with it, not a problem, it's that the syncs are different between my cameras. So I've set it up for the C920. So if I switch over to my Polycom, it's the sync goes out. But I don't know how, or even if you can change the sync independently of cameras or on cameras, or does it, as far as I know, you can only do it on the audio stream, not the actual cameras themselves. But anyhow, that's me waffling. Gary, thanks for the feedback, always welcome. Your picture and audio is always cracking as ever, always makes me a bit jealous. Ed, like Leon, I'm very interested in that amp and the chip that's on it. As Leon said, the actual board, the ready-made amp, is probably cheaper, or is cheap. There's not much point in trying to make a board for it. But I'm very interested to know where you're going from, etc., etc. So if you could let Leon and me know, that would be really good. What have I been doing? One of the other things I've been doing, as some of you know, I'm down in the National Museum of Computing, and one of the machines that we built had a problem, which is this machine here. It's Heath Robinson, which I think I've shown a video about. But it caused me some problems, and it ended up had three problems. One is one of the relays on it had gone out of spec, and it had to be basically brought back into spec, and because these are Strauger relays, there's all sorts of spring tensions and armature gaps to be set up. So one of the reset relays had to be done. So that was done, and to actually get it to work, there was 2 other faults on it, and both of them were related to carbon resistors changing value. And some of you may know that carbon resistors, particularly high values, just do not like high voltage, and it's a carbon resistors. They don't like high voltage, and so it's high value, high voltage, and some of them will tend to go high in resistance. And I think the 100k resistor that I replaced, I have a feeling it was about, what was it? It was about 200 and, I don't know, nearly 300k. So it changed value dramatically. It's just a pain to actually trace them down, because you don't expect a resistor to change. But over the years, I'm now more accustomed to resistors potentially changing their values, so I consider it when I try and do some fault finding, but only on high voltage machines, not on low voltage machines. Resistors on low voltage stuff seems to stay, the values seem to stay correct. Mind you, who uses carbon resistors these days? Not many people, but there you go. My Winter Hill, which is now built, which is behind me, and I think it's on that camera. Yeah, you can just see the LEDs flashing, and it's all run remotely. So I'm running the Winter Hill client on my receive PC here. As you know, that I just run everything under Linux, and trying to get Windows programs that use USB to get them to run under Linux is very, very difficult. So I don't even bother with it these days. And it's great that I can use it remotely. So yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. I'm so chuffed. Yeah, so I've got Winter Hill and Longmin basically running remotely on clients. So yeah, it's absolutely great. Anyhow, that's about enough for me. So I'm going to hand it to Ed. So if Ed's got that info about that amp, Liam and I will be very grateful. Anyhow, this is M0PIT, handing it back to group and to Ed. I should put a test card up. Bang, there we go. So
Okay, thanks Phil. P-Way2RN coming back. For those brilliant software developers that we have here on Q100 developing, DATV softwares and stuff, what do you guys think? They should make some, I don't know, some driver or some software that would recognize the face to act PTT on and off. Like maybe we could just blink 3 times or make this with the hand. Some face, some different face. So you can bring the PTT on and PTT off would be great instead of using the mouse. Okay, thank you Gary, thank you Leon for the information. I'm glad that you guys indicated that I'm following the correct path. Yes, I'm gonna put this um, this thing, Gary, to cool down the water. I don't think it have a thermostat, so I think it will keep running and running. The only thing it has is a control to increase or decrease the fan RPM. I know the minimum is like 2000 RPM and goes up to 4000 RPM. That's the only control. I don't think it has a thermostat to switch on and off. But anyways, that's what I got. And regarding the lip sync, Martin, yeah, maybe it's a little bit out. I didn't have time to fine tune this DATV Easy, so probably I need to make some tests and try to fine tune um, about the lip sync. So maybe a little bit out. It was 100 as it came. Now I changed to 200. Maybe I need to increase it. Um, And regarding the amplifier, yeah, Gary mentioned that Leon get his phone broke, so I put a link on the WhatsApp group, Leon, to get the board, and Phil is also interested. But actually, you can, well, thinking better, Gary, we should look for AliExpress or Alibaba or whatever to sponsorship our worldwide DTV net because. Because we are showing too much products from them here, so we deserve some sponsorship. Yeah, but that's the little board. It's a Sky 65135, Sky 65135, and yeah, that works great. I mean, it's very. I'm using for years now, and it's very robust. The only thing I mentioned is just to put some heatsink on top of the ship and on the bottom as well, and never invert because this, believe me, this is very easy to happen. You put that inverted, you invert out within. And if you do that and transmit, even with the Pluto, it will die instantaneously. And obviously, be careful with the 5 volts feed. It's not 12, it's 5, and it has this enable. So if the enable works like a PTT. I mean, if you want this always on, you just short the 5 volts with enable. It will be always on, and that's it. I mean, very simple, not so expensive, and works great. Yeah. About Leon's background, I mentioned about Leon's background the last DATV net, I believe, and I'm glad that someone else also mentioned. So Leon will not, think, "Wow, this guy from Brazil is bother me with my background." But I'm glad someone from not Scotland, it's Wales. Yeah, I always confuse GW with GM, but it's Wales. Someone from Wales also said the same thing. So Leon, that's the background team is is asking you to put back your background. All right. I think that's it for me. Thank you, guys. Nice to see you all. Hope to see you again next weekend. For Martin, that will not be here, so enjoy your event, and yeah, take some pictures and bring to us for the following week. Okay, now back to Brian, which gonna follow by Leon, Peter, and Nigel. So 73 over 1. Golf 6 Hotel Fox Sierra from Papa Yankee 2 Radio November 73. Could be PTT off. Bye. It's a shame.
Oh, bit quick there. Happy on the PTT, I think. Yeah, not got a lot to add. Good net again this afternoon. Hopefully I'll get a bit done during the week. Try and get outside and have a go at just doing a bit of realignment to see if I can get some more dBs out the LMB on the back of the potty. Just not had time to do it. So I've got not a lot else to add really, apart from hopefully be on next week. And so I'll just say 7-3s for the time being and hand it round back to Leon, ZS1 Mike from G6HFS. Cheers all.
Okay. Thanks, Brian. And G6HFS and the group ZS1 Mike returning. It's getting dark here and it's getting cold. Sun's going to be down pretty soon. Okay, thanks for that info, Ed, about the amp. I wrote it down. I'll go and look for it. And about the background, yes, no, you must just be patient. You must be patient. Things move very, very slowly in Africa. So, yeah, once I move into my new shack, of course, then it'll be all different. Maybe I'll have an exhibition of valves or something. I'll see what I can do. Right, I liked your cartoon as well, Ed. That was a good one again. Right, Phil. Yes. Yeah, I've also experienced that on valve stuff. Normally, when I get a valve thing that I must fix, check the HT first. Okay, it's there. The rectifier, the anodes are not red, so the electrolytics are okay. And then I check the coupling capacitors, the coupling condensers. Check on all the control grids. They must be 0 volts, no positive voltage on there. If there's just the slightest bit of positive, then you know there's leakage. So you replace those. And then you check the screen resistors and the anode resistors. Measure them. And they normally go high. High value, high voltage resistors, carbon, yeah, they go high, definitely. Some of them go completely open circuit if the thing is old enough. Oh, no, these are now other dogs. There's probably somebody with a dog walking down the street. That really sends them off. But these are big dogs. They don't bother me. But these little chip 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 ones, 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, I've got many recordings of them now. Anyway, okay. So what did I say about Gary? Oh yes, Gary, that repeater amplifier. It looks American though. Those condensers in there, those little stacked mica condensers, that's American. It's Motorola loves those. But I see that the output track, the final output track, got rather hot, and also the one condenser on that. So that thing had either been running on bad SWR at some stage or just at very, very high power. That track, it's discolored the PC board substrate, so it really got hot. But yeah, good on finding the disconnected braid. That definitely would cause that sort of nonsense, crackling and so on. Eldemos, yeah, it's cooling, yeah, that's sorted. Brian, he must fly his model aeroplanes. Peter, yeah, your picture is good. Don't worry. And there was something else I wanted to comment on. No, forgotten now. Didn't make a note. But yeah, again, thanks very much for that little amplifier dope there, Ed. Okay, Nigel, yes, you dropped out a few times, just for a short while. Your complete carrier disappear and then it comes back, but your audio is good and your picture is good when it's there. Your sync is way out still, about a sentence, but audio quality is good. You must just shift the two together. Who said that you can't set the camera syncs independently. I think you can on OBS. If I go to another camera, how do you do the sync again? I think you right click or something. I forgot now because I don't do it anymore. It always stays on. But I think you can right click on the thing, go to the audio menu that comes up, and then for that particular selected camera you can shift the audio. If I'm not mistaken, I could be talking rubbish because I'm computer illiterate. Okay, right. Now it goes to Peter, and this was my final round. I want to get outside. GW7 BZY for the group from ZS1 Mike, and cheerio to everybody, but I'll still be listening and watching in the background.
So we'll pass it to Nigel. Nigel, will you take it? Then you pass it back to me. Then I'll wrap up the net from ZA6YI. Back to me, then I'll wrap up the net.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. I'm just waiting. See if I can. Come on, get through 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I've got that. Let me just click over to. Yeah, I've got that. Let me just click over to. Cut. Here we go. Yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, I'm a bit intrigued. Somebody said you could hear music. I wasn't transmitting any music. Certainly wasn't in the shack anyway. Whether something's running on in the background, I don't know. That was included. Anyway, I've got the pictures to show you, and let's see if I can get it working now. So do that. And I'll cut straight over to them. That's the amp box just below the dish, and that's about maximum 2 meters away from the shack. And I've got about RS400, I think you call it, or 200 on. Very thick cable. And let me just show you the other one. And that's cut that across. And that's inside the amp. So the amp's in a metal case. You see the fan, big size fan. The top unit is the power supply. And the bottom obviously is the fan, cooling fan, and the amps below it. And once the cabinet's shut, obviously it's like a sweat box. So you know I've got to do something. Whether I put metal grills on either side so it gives airflow, or these at the bottom of this. Bottom of the amp box is an inspection grill you can undo. I'm probably going to be easiest way is probably to put a grill on that. But I'm still that operates power on power. As soon as I put the PTT switch, a power amp on, it goes straight onto transmit. So when the guy built it, that's the way he's done it. I think that's what I requested because I didn't know any different. So whether it's going to be too much problems working, get the voltage and the fan separate, and how to use the PTT. because obviously once you're transmitting, the only way I can extra cool it down is to switch transmission off on the preamp and then keep the fan running and help cool it down. But I think the best thing is to like the fan to be remotely, you know, on its own, so at least it's constantly cooling down. But as it takes me 20 times longer, like I said, to do everything, it's all slow speed. But that's looking forward, I think, you know, because obviously in the metal box, keep it closed. It's just going to, I mean, now it's 36C, so I've been transmitting, 3-4 minutes. So it's not too bad. I've got the lid closed at the moment, so it's dropped up to 42. So I better start giving it. Anyway, nice to see everybody. Oh, I better put let me put the put the picture back. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I forgot to come on. Okay, it's not. Anyway, I'm going to cut transmission. I'm going to cut transmission. There's a test card back. For some reason, the cover camera wouldn't come on. So that's it from me for this week. See if I can get a few more interesting things to do later. So I'll hand it back to net control, Gary ZS6YI, and it's not coming back on the test card. It's showing a test card, but it's not transmitting. Okay, I'll hand the microphone back to net control. Something's not running right.
Okay, Nigel, good. No problem. 2 Echo 0 Echo Hotel ZA6YI returning good. All right, so with this, I'm going to close the net now. I've got another net right now on the 2-meter repeater, so I have to run off on doing that. And yes, indeed, Leon, that amp must have got hot at one stage. We didn't get the amp new, so we've never abused the amp. We've always run it at 80 watts, but it's capable of about 160 watts. But I got it from Ronald, ZA6RVV. So I don't know what they did. It ran up at the Brixton Tower. At the hotel in the middle of Joburg, the Carlton. It was right on top of that building. So it had a wonderful range, but eventually they took it down. And then I got it finally. But I think what I'll do is I'll just put a piece of copper wire, just stitch it to the PC board and make sure that we don't have issues there with a thin piece of PC board perhaps giving trouble. Right, with that, I'm going to close the net, throw the ball in the air. We wish everyone a very happy week and look forward to hearing you guys next week. Enjoy your stint at the races, or watching the races there, Martin. Indeed, when that comes to town, you must support it, no doubt. All the best, guys. This is ZA6YI now, clearing frequency, closing the net. 7-3, cheerio.